evening, everyone, and welcome to this very special episode of Where Everyone Plays a Part, a production of the Community Theater of Terre Haute. Typically, we make videos for this Where Everyone Plays a Part, but tonight we thought we've got some fairly pressing and interesting news for you, so we wanted to bring it to you in this live stream format. It will be recorded and available on the Community Theater landing page on YouTube, so you can look at it if you wanted a rerun. Have at it. And for those of you who know people who would like to see the live stream but couldn't make tonight, please share the fact that it's available through a recording with them, if you will. You do have a chat window available to you. If you look at, I believe it'll be on the right side of your screen. You can enter questions, and I see we had a hello here. And Peggy Apgar demanded that we get this party started a while ago. So please feel free to interact. Questions, comments, and I'll try to force myself to look at the panel every once in a while to catch up to see if there are any comments we need to follow up on. No, it's no surprise that the past year has presented significant challenges to Community Theater of Terre Haute, really around the globe. But in the interest of keeping our volunteers and audience members safe, we decided to suspend the season. And we'll hear more about that in just a little while. But right now we're looking at a significant change in the trajectory of COVID across the nation. And hopefully through this summer and by this fall, we'll be in a position we can be open for business once again. And to talk about what we have to look forward to, I want to bring in A.J. Dinkle, the president of the board of directors for Community Theater. And I'm going to do a little virtual magic here and see if we can bring him in. And there he is. Hello, A.J.
Hey, Mark.
How are you?
Good to see you.
Thanks for being with us tonight.
Absolutely.
Hey, we really didn't rehearse this in advance because I wanted to be casual and kind of off the cuff. But I want to give you the opportunity to talk a little bit without much guidance from me. Could you share with us, from your perspective, what has CT experienced over the past year?
Well, it's been unprecedented in so many ways, and that's not unique to CT, of course. As many people know, we've been around for 94 years, founded in 1926, and this is the longest we have ever, that I can tell through our history books, gone without performing. Even the Great Depression, World War II. You think of all the things in our history that could have interrupted our operations that didn't. And so this is really unprecedented. 5 days from now, I looked at the calendar, will mark 1 year since the last performance on our stage.
Wow.
So we will have gone a whole year without a performance on our stage. It certainly was not how we expected this year to go. I still remember back to our discussion in March of last year at the board when COVID was first becoming known in the United States, and we had a discussion at that March board meeting about what do we need to do about this? And I remember the discussion being basically, well, let's put some hand sanitizer out and we'll wipe down the stuff afterwards and we'll be okay. And 7 days later we had closed and we thought, okay, couple of weeks, we'll take a break, from rehearsals and we'll be back. And then, of course, things got worse, and we said, okay, we'll cancel the rest of this season, but by God, by September, we'll be ready to go. And here we are, canceling the entire season. I mean, it's not what we all wanted to do, certainly, but the safety of our volunteers and the patrons are the first priority we had in making these decisions.
Yeah, I was always taken during the board of directors meetings. We talked about what it is we should do, and before we did much of anything, we thought about how can we protect people's health and safety. So I think we've been responsible, but it has hit us. As you said, the longest time since we've ever gone without a live performance. And you're in a unique situation.
It absolutely has.
Yeah, you took over the presidency of the board of directors in June, so we were a few months into this when you had to assume the helm. That had to have been challenging.
Yeah, it certainly was, and when I agreed to get on the path to eventually becoming the president of the board, like every president, you have all these plans and things that you want to see done, and it became clear towards the end of March that the trajectory of that of my leadership would be completely different, and that continues to evolve every day. So this has really taken our priority as the board, and we're very fortunate, I have to say. We have a very large board, but every single person on that board has stepped up during this crisis and been leaders, and always at the forefront of their mind is, let's be safe. Let's make sure we're not putting anybody in jeopardy. As much as we miss doing theater, we all do. As much as we are impacted by the loss of revenue, that's not been our deciding factor. It's about keeping people safe.
Yeah, I do have to put out a big thanks to the Indiana Arts Commission. They have coordinated some special grant opportunities for small businesses or small operations like us to help us make up the loss of income. So we have to send out a really huge thanks to the state of Indiana and the Indiana Arts Commission for helping us out during this difficult time, as well as many other arts organizations in the state.
Yeah, absolutely. They always come through to support us every year, but they've been so much help during this, beyond just funding, but having webinars with us and having conversations with us and asking, what are you going through? What can we do to help? As the president, it has really been a welcome source to have those other colleagues across the state that are going through the same thing, that are having the same questions we are.
Yeah, my heart goes out to the smaller organizations, perhaps some that just started recently. They're really facing some financial challenges that fortunately community theater doesn't have, because we have been for 100 years now really good stewards of the money flow. So thumbs up to the board of directors for their fiscal responsibility as well. Well, let's look ahead and imagine that things are going to look bright by the fall. As we return to the full slate of productions later in the year, what kind of COVID precautions or precautions in general will we be observing as we go back into full production for both patrons and volunteers?
Well, our plan continues to evolve. We had a plan in the fall ready to go when we were able to reopen. And of course, that has since changed, because we're constantly evaluating the data from the state of Indiana, the CDC, and now with the vaccine rolling out, that changes some of our plans. But our plan calls for a wide variety of things, and it's all based on the current numbers in the state. And so it can be anywhere from wearing masks as a patron, limiting the seating and distancing people in the house. Cast members and volunteers can probably expect temperature checks, and possibly testing as testing becomes more rapid and available to us. We're hoping that at least part of the way through next year we might be able to just get back to business as normal, but we are prepared to take as many steps as we need to.
As you use the word normal, I'm thinking we don't often hear that word associated with people in community theaters. We all have personalities that send us a little bit beyond the normal range. So maybe we can take advantage of being normal for the first time in our lives, huh?
It'd be a first.
Yeah, talk to us about the schedule. I know the schedule itself hasn't been set for next year, but we do know what shows are going to be presented, right?
Yeah, and if I said for certain we're definitely going to offer all 7 of these shows in this order, whatever, today, I'd be lying. I thought for certain we'd be reopened by now, and I've been proven wrong. But at this point, we are hopeful to be able to reopen for the full season in August for auditions and the first performance in September. We plan to produce the exact same season that we were going to do this past year, because we really felt it was a strong grouping of shows, and really we had some great people in place that already started planning for shows and things like that. So we're planning to offer 2 musicals, Little Women and Shrek, 2 comedies, Cemetery Club, and Vanya and Sonia and Masha and Spike, the mystery Wait Until Dark, and then two of our Oakley productions, Beanie and the Bamboozling Book Machine, which actually got shut down in its first week of rehearsals. They'd already cast the show, they had part of the set built in the Oakley, and they were ready to go. So we're hoping to bring those same people back, as many of them are as possible, and produce that Theater for Young Audiences offering, and a final Oakley production of the Goldman Project.
Outstanding. I really do hope we're able to produce all of those shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'll tell you this, with a whole additional year to prepare for these directors and technical people should have outstanding performances this year, huh?
I would hope, as one of those directors, I sure hope I can get my act together and get back into the swing of doing theater. Man, this is the longest, I was talking to somebody the other day, the longest break since high school I've had without doing a show. So it's good. I think it's going to be some adjustment period for a lot of us to get back into the swing of going every day. It's been kind of weird to go home and sit and watch TV.
It will be nice to be back in the theater, I'll tell you.
Absolutely.
I know that one of the things you want community theater to do is to continue to expand our community outreach. One of the things that we have an opportunity to do is host a Poetry Out Loud competition later this year. Would you like to talk a little bit about that? Because it's something that we've not done before. It's not a true production in terms of a stage show or musical, but it does expand our reach into the community in the performance and presentation of the arts. Well, talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, when this came to the board, it was an extremely exciting opportunity. The Poetry Out Loud competition is a national competition for high school students to recite poetry. So it's performance poetry. And given the performance at the inauguration a couple weeks ago, I'm hoping some young people might be interested more in performance poetry. So we will be the local host for this competition and be able to send students on to the state competition that will eventually go on to the national competition. And there's some really exciting scholarship opportunities for these students that advance. And it's a way for us, as I've been thinking about this, of giving young people a voice and giving them an opportunity to gain confidence, to perform for an audience. And it's totally in line with our mission of education. So it's certainly something different than what we've offered in the past, but I think it's just really hand in hand with what we're aiming to do for the community.
Yeah, it's a big event. This is a program sponsored by the National Endowment for the Arts, the Poetry Foundation, and the Indiana Arts Commission. And we have an opportunity to send up to 10 students to compete at the state level based on our how they rank at our local competition. So we're going to be including schools from Vigo County and all of the surrounding counties as well. So I hope we have a lot of competitors, student participants, and a lot of people in the audience to watch this new exciting type of performance.
Yeah, and there has been such a vacuum of that opportunity for students here in this area. So if we can, do our part to make this available to those students, then why wouldn't we?
You bet, you bet. We have worked traditionally. We oftentimes have high school and younger students perform on our stage, which is a wonderful opportunity for them, and I think it's great that we open our arms in invitation to those folks as well. And speaking of bringing folks to community theater, we are a 100% volunteer force, and we're always looking for new people to volunteer. We need people working, acting on stage, working behind the curtains, but the sets. What do you tell people who say they might want to become involved in community theater, and what do you tell them they might expect as a result of their becoming a part of our volunteer family?
Yeah, you mentioned the thing that I tell everybody is that we're 100% volunteer. Everybody from me down to the director, down to the person that's walked in that door for the first time, we're just there because We believe in that organization. We enjoy what we do there, and we believe in enriching the community. So I always tell people, come give it a try. I can't tell you how many people I have met at community theater that have walked through those doors and said, I've never done theater before. I've never even gone to theater, but I thought I'd give it a shot. We had somebody a couple of years ago in one of our Christmas shows that said, well, that's my favorite movie, so I came in, and then became a longtime volunteer. It can be daunting. I can tell you from personal experience to step into that door for the first time and put yourself out there. But once you do, it's so addicting. It's so much fun. You meet so many interesting and such a wide variety of people there. I've gained lifelong friends from this organization. I've had the opportunity to be a part of some really fantastic shows. It's given me a creative outlet, and I think it's done that for so many other people. So come on down. If you're interested in getting involved, we actually have a new form on our website, relatively new, to go on and fill it out, and it'll get filtered to the right people. And even if you've been a volunteer at community theater before, we encourage you to go on and fill this form out, because we have a new volunteer management system that's going to hopefully help us really identify some new volunteers and get them in the right place. So go on. It's really easy to fill out with your information. You can click what you're interested in, so we know if we have an opening where to put you. But once we're back to normal, and if you drive by 25th and Washington and you see the marquee auditions, certain date, stop by. Even if you don't want to audition, if you want to help in the costumes, if you want to help with lighting, whatever, stop by and meet people, and that's the absolute best way to get involved.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand that as they see people acting on stage, they never understand how many people are behind stage supporting that production. So their volunteer opportunities, more than, I can't say more than you can count, because of course you can count that, but there are a lot of volunteer opportunities that don't involve being on stage, but certainly the on-stage portion, involvement is fun too. I can tell you from personal experience that when I first walked into community theater, in just walking in the lobby, I said, I'm somewhere special now. Because I was used to working in community theaters that had to set up in a Grange hall or a church basement. The facility we have is second to none, not just in Indiana, but I don't know that there are too many community theaters anywhere in the nation that have the facilities we do. But that shouldn't be something that would stop people in their tracks. It's still
we're a
welcoming place, and plenty of opportunity for involvement.
Yeah, we are, after all, an asset to the community. It's community theater. It's called that for a reason, and it's for everybody to come in. And we are so fortunate, like you said, to have the facility we do. I've seen community theaters, like you said, that set up in a 50-seat storefront, something like that. And we didn't always have that luxury. I mean, you read our history book, and they started rehearsals on a dirt floor at the basement of ISU. So we've been the very fortunate beneficiaries of people that came before us. But even if you don't want to get involved in a show, if you want to help usher, you want to work in the ticket office, anything like that, we will find a place to put you if you want to get involved.
I can attest to that. I just looked at the chat window. Doug Lunn said he auditioned when he moved here and hasn't missed a season
Doug.
yet. So hello, Doug. So it has a way of hooking you and bringing you in. One of the things I've really been taken by in the last couple of years is our advancements in technology. The website is just really impressive. It's an opportunity to buy tickets, to volunteer. So help people understand a little bit more about how much we have on our website and how that is used as a conduit to move into the community and allow them to interact with us as well.
Yeah, our website's a great informational things for all things community theater. It gets updated pretty regularly with all the information about volunteering, our history. You can look at past photos of shows and kind of get an idea of what we can do. Now we do have online ticketing sales for the last couple of years. Super easy to buy tickets now. You go on, buy it, you can bring your phone, show it to the ushers, they scan it, you go in, you don't even have to waste paper. You don't have to talk to the box office staff, although you can stop by and say hi, they're really nice. It's really something we've been strategic in the last few years of making sure that we've kept up with technology, like you said.
It's pretty impressive. Hey, I want to ask you one final question, but before I do that, I want to take this opportunity to extend just a huge thanks to you. You're probably not aware of the number of people that look at you and have watched what you've done over the past few years. I'll stop by the building and you'll be there. What you brought in terms of almost cutting edge technology, looking into the future strategically, and what we need to do today to assure our health in the future. You've been an asset to community theater, and on behalf of not just the board of directors, but anyone else involved with community theater and the community in general, thank you for all you've done. And you're still stuck with us for another year and a half in the presidency, huh?
Well, you are too kind. It has been the honor of a lifetime, I can say, even despite all of the challenges that this year has brought to serve as the president the last 7 months so far. And that's largely due to everyone that's involved, not just the board, but all the volunteers. You walk in and they're just so supportive and so happy to be there, and I think that's what keeps us all going.
What final words do you have in terms of what someone from the community should know about community theater and what it is we do?
Well, like we said before, if you're interested at all in getting involved, even right now, just send us one of those forms through the website. You can also email us at volunteer@ctth.org and let us know, because anybody that's done theater will tell you, even if we are waiting till September to premiere our next show, the planning will start soon. So the directors will start looking for people. So reach out if you're interested. I would be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity to thank all the people that have supported us throughout the pandemic. Ticket sales account for about 80%, if not more, of our revenue every year. And when we canceled in March and have continued to cancel, that's an 80% reduction in our income immediately. And like Mark said, we are very fortunate to have people that came before us to set us up in a financial position where we're not having to worry about closing our doors permanently, like unfortunately so many arts organizations are facing right now. But so many people have stepped up to donate, whether it's $5 or $100. Indiana Arts Commission, Mayor Duke Bennett, the City of Terre Haute, Arts Ileana, but also our individual donors. They account for a huge portion of our income, and I've also taken over the fundraising aspects of the theater recently, and that's given me a unique opportunity. Every time a donation's made, I see it now, and it has moved me so much throughout this pandemic to see the generosity and the care that people in this community have for community theater. I've received notes in the mail with a check just telling us to hang in there and that they're thinking about us, and that means more than anybody can ever know. So I really want to thank all the people that stepped up and supported us. And I just encourage everybody to please stay safe, continue to take precautions. That's the only way we're going to get through this. Theaters were the first to close, and we're going to be the last to reopen, just to the nature of what we do. But we can come together, and we're going to beat this, and we will be back to normal. And we'll be back to doing shows hopefully sooner rather than later.
Outstanding. Thanks, AJ, for your time. Good to have you here.
Thanks, Mark.
I'm sure we'll see you again on future episodes of Where Everyone Plays a Part. And folks, that is it for this evening. We want to thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you for the next episode. Good night now.